welcome to Porto and welcome the new Renault Espace. It is on the 6th generation and it is now an SUV. Renault has gone away from the MPV design and made the Espace into a 7-seater. Yes, you heard that right. And underneath lies the shared platform with Nissan and Subaru. And the power plant is a 200 horsepower combined output, full hybrid drivetrain. So right now we don't have any full electric Espace, and we'll see what happens in the future. But this is an interesting car because it is not one of their most best-selling cars. Those are of course the Renault Clio, the Renault Megane. But with the new Espace, I think that Renault might have something really good on their hands. The car is under 5 meters, so it has been shrunken a bit, weighs over 200 kilograms less, and of course has gone away completely from the MPV platform or design. Design-wise, this continues on from the Renault Megane E-Tech, the electric Megane, and just bigger, but also more refined. They've been able to implement the new Renault design language very nicely. It looks very sophisticated and very Renault-ish. The new design of the logo is very interesting. You can see how it is actually not only one solid color, it has some, you know, some design to it. You can see it wraps around, especially here, so it's more complex than you might think. This is the maxed out version, meaning 360-degree camera, the biggest, nicest rims, panoramic sunroof, the nicest interior, wireless charging, and so on and so forth. But we'll check the rear luggage space and I'll show where the 7 seats are located. Here is some luggage, but if I move it away, you can actually see where the 7 seats go. And when they are up, there's not that much room to play with. The rear middle seats can slide, which makes it possible to give more room in back. Now I'll show you the luggage space with the rear seats folded down and the rear seats folded up. I must say that the space towards the sides is not that impressive. It's very cramped towards the sides. The lip, very minimal. I really love that. And plastic, so you don't really scratch anything. Good there. Hello, Kitty. And there is plenty of space. A minor hump in the middle here. With that max out spec, you have pillows that enhances the comfort for your head. Very comfortable, I must say, and huge amount of knee space, decent amount of lower thigh support, and a lot of foot space, and no real hump. I must say that Renault has really nailed down the passenger comfort in the rear. There is a bar underneath my seat, which I press up and then I move it forward. That was a lot of movement, and let's see how much space that gives me in the rear. Not the biggest amount of space, but I would definitely say that it is for children. One bad feature that I think is that when you fold the seat back and then move the seat back, the safety belt gets stuck here. So you always have to be mindful when you move the seat back. A small design feature that should just work. Unfortunately, they still use the same boring key fob. There's a lot of Renault Megane e-tech in here. So the new steering wheel, the new digital gauge cluster, the new infotainment system that's Google based, but the fit and finish of everything, this wood trim, the air vents, the design, quite angular but very well judged with the proportions, buttons for the things that you use the most, the climate control, the buttons on the steering wheel to increase and decrease the speed, 4 spokes for the drive, reverse, neutral, wiper blades to decrease and increase the sound, and for the indicator stock. And underneath here you have controls for the ESC, the lane assist, opening the rear trunk, and for some speed, I have no idea what this is. Here's the parking brake. What I don't like is that they have USB-C plugs, not lightning ports. Here you have some extra storage, but not that much. It goes underneath here and in, weird design, but it is what it is. Can talk a bit about the infotainment system, Google based. The navigation is, since it is Google Maps, fantastic, but in general the infotainment system is very deep and quite complex. Navigation, sound. This is the upgraded Harman Kardon sound system. Sounds great. Phone, all the apps, and you can download a lot of apps. Multi-sense, electric 360-degree camera, hands-free parking, seats. So there's massage in these seats because of the highest spec. Air quality, driving echo, driving assistant, so dead angle assist, a lot of that aspects, parking assistant, vehicle and settings. And talk about the digital gauge cluster. There are different views. This is simplified, classic gauge layout, map, and some driving assistance. So when I drive, and you can see if I start to verge to the left of the lane, start to drift a bit to the left, I'll see it here. Very simple but very clear and distinct. I really like that. And multi-sense, so comfort, eco, sport and perso, so you can change some of the driving characteristics. I talked about the exterior, the luggage space, the rear sitting space and the driver's seat. Now it's time to start driving the car. The 200 horsepower drivetrain is just enough for this car. What Renault has really nailed down is the the middle ground of not being too soft and wallowy, but never too stiff. Still get some feedback when you drive through corners, but now I'm driving a bit more aggressive. It's a press trip, the roads are really amazing, really curvy, but when you accelerate and then hit the brake, there's a weird, not jarring sensation, but it feels like the car still wants to accelerate. The electric engine is still powering, so there's some rubber band effect. It's really unnerving. But it only happens when I drive, more aggressively, hitting the gas and then hitting the brakes. In normal driving, you would see about 5.5-6 liter per 100 kilometer, which for this type of car I think is incredible. That drivetrain is just very fuel efficient, but when the petrol engine kicks in, it's very loud and rough. Doesn't feel that refined, I must say. I really like how you activate the lane assist and the active cruise control. Very easy to use. Increase and decrease the speed because it's a button basically. Extremely quiet, but over 100 kilometers an hour there's a lot of wind noise that comes from I think those side view mirrors. The car has 4-wheel steering, not 4-wheel drive, which gives the Renault Espace a turning radius of just over 10 meters. Really good to have when you navigate in tight parking spaces, especially in a car of this size. And it makes the car feel more agile when you drive on a B road as well. Or in general, it helps the agility of the car. And kicking down, you feel it. There's a bit of a shunt from the gearbox trying to decide what it wants to do, and then something happens. It's not that predictive. Of course, you can go into from comfort to sport. But yeah, that power plant, I think they could have worked with that and improved it a bit. The Renault Espace, I think, is one of Renault's best products right now. But the powertrain is one of the Espace's weak points. It's not refined enough for this type of car. When the petrol engine kicks in, it is too loud and it intrudes into the general experience. In almost every other aspect, I think this is more or less a slam dunk. I don't know the price of this car. Hopefully I'll be able to find that out. But the obvious main competitors are the Peugeot 5008, the Skoda Kodiaq, and those types of cars. And they've been on the market for a long time and proven themselves to be not only good cars, but they have been selling quite nicely. And for Renault to intrude on that market, they need to offer something that is a whole package. And I hope that even though the hybrid power plant left a little bit to be desired in terms of refinement, that the new Espace is good looking enough, big enough, logical enough, comfortable enough to hit on the market. And I think it could be, but time will tell. And that's my final conclusion of the new Renault Espace. See you next time.